Please welcome Barry Diller.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's great to be here for a lot of reasons, but one is that three of the awardees I've been involved with in my life. They've had to suffer me. Miss Hammer, for sure, and Miss Grossman from HSN. So it really is a pleasure to be here. Now, when Kara Swisher started covering technology and the emerging internet, people mostly thought that new technology was inventing the electric toothbrush. We've moved so fast in these 18 years since the beginning of the internet revolution, it's hard to remember how little anyone in the media, much less the public, was interested in knowing much about it. But Kara knew and understood before almost anyone that it was going to change almost everything. Beginning at the Washington Post, she began writing about something called the World Wide Web, long before it became those three little letters. She was a key catalyst in helping set off this radical revolution of all we see, we hear, and we know. She moved to the Valley before it was siliconed, and she began writing the Boomtown column for the Wall Street Journal. While she had the technology wind at her back, she became the leading and most influential reporter on the wild ride of the internet. She wrote the bookmarks of that first era. First, how AOL rocketed into prominence, and then in a book 5 years later, how it crashed to the ground disastrously with the Time Warner-AOL merger. After failing to get the Wall Street Journal to support a website dedicated to technology, she and her colleague, Walt Mossberg, started a conference called All Things D. It quickly became the go-to gathering for everyone in technology. Every major figure of the last 10 years has appeared on stage under her no-nonsense questioning. It is not for nothing that she's often referred to as the equal opportunity terrifier. She made Mark Zuckerberg sweat glisteningly, and the Google boys look like frightened undergraduates. And they got Bill Gates and Steve Jobs on stage to actually be sweet to each other. As she's gone about reporting and stirring up trouble, she's also, long before the term leaning in was appropriated, been the strongest voice in demanding a greater role for women in technology. She railed against the absence of women directors in tech companies to effect. Certainly for me, she was the prod that got us to name women directors to all of our companies, all of our boards. Kara's had a wonderful career so far. Married to the great Megan Smith, mother of 2 children, capable of anything she tackles. I wouldn't be completely surprised to find her sometime in the future being the second woman president of the United States. Until then, she's most deserving of this year's Matrix Award, Kara Swisher.
Well, is that the nicest you've seen Barry Diller ever? Seriously, Barry, thank you. I am thrilled to be here, and thank you, and especially I asked for Barry specifically because not many people know, but Barry, I know you know him as the socialite and the media mogul and everything else and the power guy in New York, but he's actually a nerd in the best sense of the word. And I met him 20 years ago when I came to his office. He was one of the few Hollywood people who really was interested in the internet and didn't want to run screaming from it. I've noticed below here there's Martha, also another nerd, who I saw 20 years ago at a party for Bill Gates. That was a fun time, wasn't it? But anyway, I'm thrilled to be here because technology is something I know media people, especially in New York, are frightened of still, even though it's one of the most important movements that's been going on for a while. And I'm thrilled that I also got the award, other honorees, tech stars like Sheryl Sandberg, Marissa Mayer, Ariana Huffington, who's down below, Meg Whitman, Esther Dyson's over here. I assume I'm basically the last digital woman left. I think that's it, right? Pretty much. But it's not any joke, because it's fantastic to be in this room full of XX chromosomes. I'm sorry, I don't get to do that a lot. Every day, I'm in an endless sea of XYs. And they're geek XYs, they're nerdy XYs, they're really nerdy XYs, and I don't know how to describe the rest of them XYs. They're very strange dudes. And I have 2 sons, so essentially I live in a life of perpetual sausage fest. It's the truth. So one of the things I'm supposed to do is give meaningful words of advice to you all, and I live in an 140-character Twittified universe. So I'm completely incapable of rendering anything meaningful. I can truncate anything to meaninglessness. But I wanted to decide to do instead is to spill some Silicon Valley secrets. I thought that would be good, because I have some things I just can't write that I wish I could, but I'm prevented from doing, because I haven't quite got 2 sources for everything. The first one is, you may not know this, but Facebook CEO Sheryl Sandberg, who I'm sure you've all read her book, is actually a hologram. She was created by Marissa Mayer, because really, who could possibly lean in that much so elegantly and effortlessly and look good doing it? It's impossible. She actually, that hologram, that cyborg, stole the idea for her book from me. I originally had a book, it was called Lean In and Then Promptly Fall Over, which is, I think most of us can relate that easily. Now, Marissa is not a cyborg or an alien or a hologram. She's actually an alien. I don't know if you know this, but most of the executives from Google are from another planet. They're here from the planet Xenu, and they've come to destroy the human race. You may not know that, but they indeed have. And one of the things that's important to keep in mind is that they are trying to do so in a number of ways, and they were trying to cover it up via the Mayan situation in 2012, but they couldn't have Google Glass in time. But what they did do is they pretty much, the whole Google system is going to become self-aware in 2014, and then they'll start killing the human race. And the way they're going to do that is actually through Google Glass. I don't know if you've gotten them yet, but they're coming. They're these sort of nifty glasses that you wear and you put on your face, and you can call it up and you say, "Okay, glass," and then you get it to do things. Most people who wear them seem like they've got a mental problem. But in any case, they're trying very hard to get those out into the population. You have to be very careful. I warn you about it. Because what the real plot actually is when you put them on, it renders anyone undateable. You look incredibly unattractive, and you don't procreate, and that is their plot of these lizard people. Now, I am married to a Google executive, and one night I cut into her skin, and there was lizard under there. It's just the way it is. It repaired quickly. But, I mean, think about it. If you think about it very carefully, and I'm a really strong reporter, if you saw Google Glass at Fashion Week earlier this year, I think it is the only thing that could make supermodels seem neither super nor models. Iman, are you with me with that? Even you. You could possibly make them sexy, but I don't think so. In any case, I'm going to try to say something more serious about things in tech. I got into tech very early. I thought it changed the world. And a lot of people in media have tended to ignore the impact that the internet's going to have on the world. And it's really important, it seems to me, that women become deeply involved in the creation of the internet. They are not. Ada Lovelace, Grace Hopper, Esther Dyson, so many women of Bletchley Park have been critical to the development of technology over the years and are largely ignored. And the fact of the matter is Silicon Valley is still largely run by men. And what's incredible is that these tools give us an opportunity for our voices to be heard, and not enough women are using them to use their voices and to run companies. This is an opportunity in life to create something that is quite amazing. And that so many of these companies are run by men, which I like men. I have sons. I think they're fantastic. But it really is an opportunity in this disruptive age of confusion. There's hackers. There's cyber crimes. This last week in Boston, Well, a lot of the coverage has been amazing, has also been disconcerting because a lot of lies spin around the world rather quickly in the digital age. And so it's really important for people to become involved much more deeply with these tools that are allowing us to have voices, and women have to have those voices. They make up most of the, more than half the consumers of the internet, and therefore should avail themselves to these tools. It's an opportunity. If you look at the internet in lots of ways, you can look at it in a negative way, but it really is the first opportunity for everyone to speak to each other globally, people that don't like each other, to understand people. I always call it the database of human intentions. That's what the internet is. And there's a beautiful bunch of words when you go to Google. There's all these words that people are searching that come across they have a scrolling thing of what people are searching for, and there are all kinds of fantastic things. And it's really illuminating to watch it. They take out the porn, obviously. But what's really important is that it gives you a sense of what people are asking questions. And asking questions is what moves humanity forward. One of my favorite quotes is that I think about it a lot when I think about the internet, because it brings light to places that don't have light. And not just here where we're playing Instagram and we're poking each other and doing all kinds of silly things, but across the globe, people are impacted very deeply by these digital technology. We just had a woman from Uganda who was doing this astonishing educational thing with just a tablet and the kind of stuff that comes over the internet that she can get to teach kids in these remote villages with these smartphones as they come down in prices. It's a bigger idea than you think about when you use the internet day to day, and everyone is sort of looking at. My best relationship is with my iPhone, but in any case, that it's a bigger idea than that. You should think about that. There's my favorite quote I just have kept recently. I tape it to the back of my iPhone, and it says, everything that can shines does. The internet gives you an opportunity to shine, and so if you shine, you should shine. And lastly, I do want to leave you with the idea, when the FedEx box arrives with your Google glasses, please don't say I didn't warn you. Thank you very much, and thank you, and my family's over here, and I want to thank them. Thank you.